failure. What's going on, guys? This is Dealer here back again with yet another RDX. You don't know what RDX is? Well, it's the latest and greatest gaming news, mostly Xbox related, all in one podcast. And we got a great panel with some familiar faces and a brand new face. You got two faces, Ryan. And we got, like I said, we got a bunch of great topics, great panel. I want to start introducing people, and then we'll start ramping up through the topics. And we kind of tend to cover the best stuff last to avoid a ton of questions, so we can get the most people in here as possible. So if you're tuning in live, do us a favor and retweet this bitch, share it out. I'm actually sharing it right now on Twitter for you guys in the panel here. And we do appreciate you guys who show up early. Hit that like button as we get into some intros, starting with the one and only. He's got his own empire. The guy, the legend, Zauker. How you doing, bud?
Doing great. I don't know what empire you're talking about, but you know, I'm here. I'm around.
I'm gonna trick Shady, okay?
I know you did. I know. I was sitting there. I was like, oh shit. Yeah. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me back on. How's everybody in the chat doing? Panel, look at it. We're stacked. We're ready to talk about some awesome news. Everybody, let's get it going.
Stacked, and tomorrow D-Batch and Shady are cracked. And then we've also got to D-Batch, buddy. Thanks for coming back.
What's up? Yeah, good to be back. Yeah, I can't wait to get into these topics. I have to say, I am a fraud. I said I wasn't going to get Call of Duty Black Ops. I saw everybody playing it and that impulsive gamer in me, and I freaking bought the game.
And then you hadn't played it yet.
No, I played it, man. I've actually been putting some hours into that game. It's actually fun. My only complaint about that game, to be honest with you, is that the graphics are so dated. Like, come on, update the graphics. But apart from that, the gameplay is good. It's COD, but I really do enjoy the Battle Royale mode. That is a lot of fun.
Gotcha. Okay, we've also got the Naughty Dog of YouTube, Colt Eastwood.
What's going on, guys? Yeah, it's exciting. I'm still playing through Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and it's one of the greats of the year, which is so great.
One of the greats of the generation. Fuck the year.
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty dang good. So yeah. I'm really enjoying it. So it's pulled me off of Forza Horizon 4. So I try to play both still. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that for 3 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, 50 hours in.
Well, get ready for another 5,000 hours with Red Dead. We got a lot of stuff to talk about there as well. We've also got So Shady, bud. Thanks for joining us again.
Oh, it is never a problem, man. Take a little bit of time out of my busy schedule, chasing those victories in Blackout to talk some games with the boys. Nothing better. Let's get it on.
Mm-hmm. And we've got Mr. Boomstick XL joining us once more.
Hey, what's going on, man? Listen, first of all, thank you so much for the second invite. This is pretty amazing. And being on this side of the mic, you know, from a fan's point of view is just amazing. So thanks a lot. I can't wait to get into these topics.
No problem at all, man. And we've got a special guest here. See, I like to mix things. I like to fuck around on this show, okay? We mix things up. We have guys from all sides of the aisles. Matter of fact, it's part of my community outreach program. I like to think it's a success so far. And I think one of the biggest problems of this whole community, right, is miscommunication. Motherfuckers running, hey, dude, someone said this, and I can't read. And then they tell someone else, and then motherfuckers think opposite shit. And that's the problem with the community, is not communicate with people that might prefer things that you do not. So I've been on Ryan's show, and I decided to have Ryan the Professional on this show. Welcome, brother.
Yes, thank you for the invite. I'm definitely looking forward to talking about everything gaming. So hope you guys enjoy the show.
Yeah, so take everybody for their word on the show here. Don't make assumptions. Maybe you got some people, Ryan, that come over here and be like, you said this, but hey, I ask you.
Hey, remember, we used that loosely.
Yeah, we used that loosely. So I ask everybody to just pay attention to what each person's saying and take them for what they've said this show. Don't attack them in the comments. And let's just try to talk about some gaming. And you know what? We got to give our sponsors a shout out as well. We've got the RDX sponsors. So we got Channing Pennington, we got John Yoon, we got Mel S, Chief Exec. We have got Guillermo Cavillo, Lethal Papa. We've also got Robert Prather. Thank you so much. He's driving across the country right now, probably. Michael Bowen, who I do believe might be doing the same. And the RDX sponsors, you guys are amazing. We've also got a Patron game giveaway to announce real quick before we jump into the topics. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, one of the best games of the generation, goes to Spoon Man on Patreon. So thank you so much for all your support, bud. I do appreciate it. We are going to get it moving. And definitely DM me, Spoon Man. I'll send you that code after the show.
Lucky.
After the introductions here, I've been getting a lot of DMs about, I don't know, people, I guess, I don't know. All right. I gotta handle this carefully, right? Because even though people just assume that we're super buddy with everybody in this community because we've done podcasts with them, when they're more like acquaintances, for example, right? And you don't really get a problem with them personally, but people are messaging me saying, hey, what about this Xbox One X lie that Microsoft were exposed for and all this stuff? And then I ask them for a link, and I'm guessing they didn't even watch the video, but Crap put out a video talking about Xbox One X lie exposed, and basically over backwards compatibility. And Digital Foundry did this big article bragging about how well the Metal Gear Solid remasters run via backwards compatibility. And I don't know why he chose that title, but there is no lie here. Just to sum it up, basically, I guess what he's getting at is the fact that backwards compatibility support has kind of slowed with well over 500 titles already backwards compatible now. I'm guessing they're kind of like, hey, we're going to add a couple, maybe every month, maybe every couple months. But that support has kind of slowed down. D, what do you think that is? Are they abandoning everything? What's going on?
No, I don't think they're abandoning everything, but I think most of the games that people want to play, they're pretty much there. And if there's a particular game that you're looking forward to or that you want them to put on there, just simply shoot them an email. I think right now they're probably focusing a lot of their attention with these new studios. We know that there's another Xbox coming out, so they're probably focusing their energies on that right now and not so much on backwards compatibility. We'll probably get maybe, 6 months down the road, they'll announce like 30 titles at one time that are coming to backwards compatibility. So I don't think it's something that we're going to see the end of. But of course, when they're ramping up a service like this, they're going to want to get a lot of games out there in the beginning. And over time, it's normal to expect it to slow down a bit.
I mean, it's 500 games, that they've got there. So.
I think it's close to 600, but when you brought this up, I'm still seeing them bring 3 to 4 games a month. On the regular. Like by the end of the month, they've at least got 2 to 3 to announce before they announce the Game Pass editions and the games with gold. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's slowing down, but I am wondering if they're running out of what they can get approved through licensing with music and software licensing deals, which is crummy.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you saw, but Crisis 1, 2, and 3 became available today.
Yeah,
that's a huge deal.
That's a big deal. I mean, it's 3 games. That's a beloved, series that would not. Honestly, I wish they would have said, "Hey, $60 HD collection for all 3," and I would have bought it. But you know what? Backwards compatible. If you have the games, it's free.
Yeah, there might be some people in the chat like, I don't give a fuck about those games, and that's fine. But there are people that already bought those games digitally, and they will now be able to just go into their readiness to install and download their stuff. That's what I'm saying. Whether you're going to play it or not, you paid money for it. You should be able to keep that stuff, and that's kind of the principle of the matter there. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, some guy today saw the tweet. I retweeted Major Nelson's announcement for Crisis 1, 2, and 3, and he ran to GameStop on his way out for lunch and got those games like $3 a piece.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Because as soon as I saw the announcement, I knew I owned Crisis 3, but not 2. 2 is my favorite one. And I went on Xbox.com. Of course, Crisis 2 is $19.99 digital. And then all of a sudden, this guy tweets like, "Thanks for the heads up, Colt." And he had a $2.99 sticker on there. I'm like, I mean, but in all reality, I don't want to go buy a disc and have to get up off my couch and put in an old game like Crisis 2. But if it was, in my library digital, yeah, I might flick the switch.
That's a good point, though, because you got to remember when Red Dead was announced back, compat sales went up over 1,000%. Coke Viper in the chat there just said he picked him up. It's not really a lose for anybody. I don't think if you want it, you can have it, and if you don't got to get it. So I just figured I would throw that out there real quick. PSN name changes, Ryan. I figured this is something you're a little more familiar with. Apparently, there's some hiccups here, and did you kind of look into this at all?
About you losing your trophy?
I don't know the exact specifics. Like I knew Shady did, so I knew I wouldn't have to read any articles on this, honestly.
There was an update about that. You don't necessarily lose your progression in terms of your trophies or anything like that. That was actually not true. So but they are going to they are going to charge you though for this. If I'm not mistaken, they said the first time you change your name through this program is free, but if you change it again, they'll charge you $5 if you're a PS Plus member, and $10 if you are not. So,
that's
if it
good.
really matters that much to
Compare that
you,
to
then
gold.
obviously you can pay for it.
If you compare that to gold, I mean, gold, you got to pay $10 if you're a gold member to change your name, and 10 if you're not. So at least they got a discount there. Shady,
True.
was there some other stuff you wanted to add here? Because I thought I heard you talking about this.
Yeah, I was under the impression that Sony themselves said that there could, in quotations, be issues with any game prior to April 1st, 2018. So, I mean, 2018, that's this year. They did say most of the popular titles would work, but I mean, that's pretty vague and wide open. So who knows? They could just release a list and make it easy. But as of right now, there is a chance that playing old games, you might have not, you may not have access to your saves. I heard maybe your trophies may not be there. Your old name may still show up. The games will still work. There is no reports I've ever heard or anyone saying that the games don't work at all, just that your progress might be reset. And if you don't like that, you can go back to your old name for free. Hopefully that's all settled when it comes out of the beta and is actually, offered to everybody, front facing, that they can get over those types of obstacles. I don't think it's going to affect everyone out there either way, even if the problems persist. But there are some guys out there that, their trophies or their progress in these games or whatever name shows up is very important to them. And that's a bummer if it keeps going like that.
So, real quick, from a scale of 1 to 10 there, Cold Eastwood, Dildo Gaggins can finally change his name after 10 years.
I was gonna say, like, you got like the Big X Little X Nickelback fan, or you got 420 YOLO swag, 360 no scope, like all that kind of stuff. It's kind of funny, it's been a long time. I think when Shady says, I read that when they said that most popular games, I expect that's going to be a big chunk of games. And I think one of the major problems is your old ID would show up in the game instead of your new one. And maybe it's not that big of a deal, but it's cool they're offering it for free. It's good stuff.
Well, the big part about it is that I'm going to kind of go a little geeky on you guys, is that the reason why it's like that is because the way you set up a database is you set it up with IDs. So like, let's say you go to a hospital or anything and it has your account with your medical history on there. Your ID is like 875 and you're always going to be 875. And so they can change your name. They can update your medical. They can do whatever they want on that. But what Sony did with the PSN name is that they kept your name under your exact name. So your Colt Eastwood, that's what they kept the ID under. So it's extremely hard for them to change it. So that's what they have it in their text file, which when you're building your database, that is rule number 1 of how not to do it. And that's something
they never were prepared. Like, they weren't prepared for this online network to begin with. They just like kind of rushed it with the PS3.
Well, even if you rush it, this is something that I took a class in. I took a year of this, and that's something that was the first thing I learned, is that if you do it this way. I don't know if it was overlooked or if they just rushed. I have no idea. Like, to me, I'm baffled by it.
It's like the Y2K bug.
That actually answers the friendly neighborhood blue shells question. He wanted to know if it had something to do with cell processor. Looks like it has something to do with networking. If you remember, when PSN launched, it wasn't even available everywhere. It was very rushed. Ryan's right. And I guess they're finally getting around over 10 years later.
Yeah,
there's gonna be a lot of problems
because this whole well, I'm not sure if that's one of the topics for the whole portable thing, the PS5, but
yeah, we'll bring that up when we do talk about that, actually. So I can remember. I don't have it written down. But yeah, PS name change now in beta. For those that give a fuck, there you go. I think it's great. Some people have been asking for whether you want to use it or not. There are some of those who do want to use it. So the Coalition, they talking about Gears of War 5. Real quick, Ryan, what do you think about Gears 4? Did you play through it?
Yeah, I thought Gears was good. I played on PC. Not bad.
What rating would you give it? Would you agree with the Metacritic? 85, 84?
I would give it at least I give like at least a 9. That's for me.
Okay,
I give it a 9 on because I played on PC.
More than I would see. So I played on PC.
Yeah, like I haven't played Gears in a long time. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while. So me playing it on PC at like 200 plus frames per second, obviously, the
game looks insane, bro.
It does.
Gears of War 4, people, and I don't know if you played it on the X, but I played it on PC and the X, primarily on the X, but the game looks like ultra settings on PC, believe it or not. I mean,
people were shopping my rating for it. Like they didn't get that I would come out the wood gate and say that it looked good. They were expecting me to trash. I'm like, nah, it's actually pretty.
It's like, hey, I have eyeballs, and this is one of the best looking games I've seen this generation. Because Gears is in the top 10 easy. It looks absolutely phenomenal. Well, Rob Ferguson, the guy leading the studio, the Coalition, did a big interview about Gears of War 5, and he says that Gears 5 will show off basically what they really want to do. They said that with Gears 4, they had to prove that they were capable of making a Gears of War title. And though we all feel that they could have done certain things differently, they did play it safe, which I feel like was obvious. The game still came out the other end, swinging at an 84 or 85 on Metacritic, very well received. And he basically says, hey, we're going to do what we want to do on this one. He also goes in and says, well, that's the thing I just read, actually. Now with Gears 5, the team wants to show what they want to take, where they want to take this franchise with new things. And as we covered before, this Gears of War, we believe, is more of an open world game. Rod had alluded that you could take that ice sled in the trailer and actually take that in different parts of the world. So a desert, you can run that thing through the desert, through the ice. Like basically, it's looking like it has some kind of open world, which is very, very intriguing to me. Boom, what are your thoughts on that? Gears running open world, potentially more RPG-ish in that nature, but with the Gears combat and stuff like that.
You know, I called for this, I think maybe about 10 or 11, maybe even 15 crossfires ago, and I got booed off the stage. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, yeah, it just Gears is great. Gears 4, one of the best looking titles in this generation. It just looks absolutely fantastic. But you know what? We've had 5 of them, if you count Judgment, and a lot of people don't. I enjoy Judgment, so I count it. So there's been 5 Gears games, and we have a 6th one coming out. I'm not saying that you totally wipe the board clean, but to give yourself room to kind of grow the franchise just a little bit, giving you your same, big grunts behind walls and you chainsawing people, great. Add a little bit of RPG element where you kind of see, my thing was this. I never read any of the Gears books. I know there's a few of them out there.
And they should never count on anybody playing their games to have had to read those books to know what's going on either.
The lore, dealer, the lore.
Yeah, you know what? But see, here's the thing. As a fan of the actual Gears of War, world, I would like to see more than just burnt out buildings, right? I'd like to see more than just graveyards with cog tags hanging over. I want to experience the world, and giving you an RPG element where you can go to different places on the map is something I called for it. And now that you're telling me this, because I didn't even see this interview, I want to read it because I'm excited.
Yeah. And I don't disagree. And keep in mind, guys, Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, the first Tomb Raider, those have RPG elements. You got level up points and skills, and there's places on the map that you can go and explore. That doesn't mean it's turning into Witcher or Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Right. Keep that in mind. So it could go have several hub areas and be more of an open world type game and still be very Gears and have a little bit of exploration for those who want to do so. I think that's very intriguing. Ryan, what are your thoughts on that? Maybe opening Gears up a little bit.
Yeah, it's good. It's always good to have a little bit of a different twist on something, as long as it's not a battle royale. That's all I care about. So, that's all.
They might have one.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, it's not going away. It's going to become a game mode like Team Deathmatch.
Yeah.
And everything else, man.
Yeah,
it's
battle
ridiculous.
royals have to stay forever.
Yeah.
Pac-Man's going to be released in the battle royale mode.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I'm definitely interested. A lot of people thought the fact that you're playing as Kate was forced, but if you beat Gears 4, it makes perfect sense. If this wasn't a thing that people were upset about, you wouldn't have questioned it if you beat Gears 4, honestly, because it makes perfect sense as to why you would be playing as her. So I don't know.
I would say
I complain about that are the same people who complain about Ellie for The Last of Us Part 2. Like if you played the first Last of Us, you know why you're playing as Ellie in Part 2.
Yep. So I never had a problem with none of that stuff. Zachar, what were you saying?
No, I'm gonna say if they do open it up and make it open world, kind of like they're hinting at, I really hope they kind of dive deep into it. I hope they maybe let you customize your guns, upgrade your guns, kind of give it that a little bit RPG flair. Give you different skill sets, just something different to really show us that they swung for the fences. I don't want just the same guns and you're going from open world part to open world part, just clearing a linear base, right?
I want it fucking trident that lets you breathe underwater.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I just got one of those last night, Colt. Honestly,
I know.
Oh,
I've been keeping that secret for like 5 days, and I didn't want to spoil it for you guys. And I was just like, I want to tell you.
It's all exciting to change up gears. It's been more or less the same formula since the beginning. But that being said, have they confirmed cooperative yet at all?
I mean,
because that is Gears for me, like big time. Really,
have they missed
really
one?
big time. It needs to have cooperative. I thought it was a big miss on the last one to go back to 2 players, especially when in 90% of the campaign or more, you had 3, if not 4 people with you because of the 2 NPCs that were constantly following you around. Like this game needs to have co-op. I don't care if it's massive open world, all that sounds nice, but if I can't play with my friends in this Gears game, that's a huge miss.
That'd be the first Gears too that didn't have it, but I'll say I think they shrunk the team size to 2 because with 4 assholes mumbling over each other, you know, if they're trying to double down and focus on the narrative, they're trying to improve the world and lore.
Oh, they were, but you almost always had an NPC with us. Like when we played co-op, there was always a 3rd guy, or
there wasn't another guy like on your headset, like look over here, you know, like it was a guy talking about the lore, you know.
Anya, I'm not allowed to run anymore because I gotta have my 2 fingers in my ears for the next 5 minutes.
No doubt. So I mean, like because of what they wanted to do with lore, I feel that it hurt the gameplay for me. I don't need the cooperative aspect to necessarily work in the narrative. I remember playing Halo as 2 Master Chiefs and not giving 2 fucks. It was just awesome that I was playing Halo with my buddies. It was so much fun. I don't need it to be tied narratively and all work in. If it does, that's cool. But if it doesn't, don't take away the option to play with my friends, man. Not in a Gears game.
Yeah. So you want like a Carmine, whatever that guy's name is, to just pop up out of nowhere and just join you with your buddies,
if it was
right?
4 Marcuses walking around or 4 of Kate, I don't really care, to be honest. I just want to play with my friends in a Gears game. If they can work it that it's not 4 Kates, so be it. But when I play cooperative with my friends, I'm not necessarily in it for pure narration. That's single player time for me because I take my time to that stuff.
4 Marcuses yelling my fucking tomatoes.
Anya.
I don't know. I played through Gears 4 on PC with Dealer because he walked me through it. We co-opted like the entire game, and I hadn't really paid attention to the story, and so Dealer was like kind of staying quiet and saying, "Yo, so you know what's going on here?" Like he's just like reading the book to me as like I'm a little kid.
I'm like, "Hey, Colt, shut the fuck up! You're missing an important part." Yeah, there you go. So you hear it? Yep. So, I don't know.
No, that was good. I mean, that's fine with me. That's co-op. Do it however you want.
Yeah. Well, either way, Gears 5 shaping up to be pretty awesome. It's coming out next year, confirmed for 2019, along with Crackdown 3 and Ori: The Will of the Wisps. So
there's something you didn't say, Dealer, that that you said in the topic listing about what he said about they played it safe. Did you?
I did say that. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, they played a little safe with 4. They want to prove they can make the game, and we got to give a shout out to over 550 people watching us live already, guys. Thank you so much for doing what you do. Hit that like button, maybe share this bitch on Twitter. We appreciate it as we start talking about some of the streaming stuff once more. Just a little quick side topic. I'm noticing in the community, and tell me if you guys are noticing the same thing. Some of these guys who are really doubting some of the stream technology because they've used PSN as their only metric. You got to remember, 90% of people that have played streaming, they've only ever played PlayStation Now, rather, right? Not PSN, PS Now. So they don't have a lot of faith in streaming. And then you hear a lot of guys that have tried this Google Play Out, which I've gotten a video of a guy playing. He wasn't supposed to send it to me, but he did. And he showed the controller and the analog stick latency. And I got to say, man, he was blown the fuck away. And this is a guy that was not back in streaming in any capacity. Now, remember, I got to say this because there's always going to be a comment. I am local hardware. That's how I'm doing it. I am not. I'm not getting into the stream shit, but I am not going to act like it's not an option for a lot of people that don't have an Xbox or don't even live in a territory where they have Xboxes. You got to remember they're trying to do this whole Xbox stream stuff with Azure, which is in so many more territories than even Xbox is in. So they're shooting for 1 billion people. And my point is, this guy sent me a video of the latency in it. He said he couldn't feel it. And I looked at the sticks and I'm like, it looks like you're playing that locally. And he's playing at 1080p 60 on Odyssey. And I'm just like, wow. You know, so these guys that were really once anti-cloud and streaming, they're starting to kind of get it that there's much bigger companies with way better infrastructure that are doing this now. And the technology's kind of baked. D, are you kind of surprised? Do you What are your thoughts on this? Community members kind of turning on this.
I'm not surprised by this. Like, first of all, once you have a pretty good internet connection,
I mean, it's something we've been telling people for a couple years now. Like, hey, we've seen this. We know there's definitely more capability here. Whoa.
Right.
Dad.
Yeah, so I've seen footage, not I've seen the Google Chrome footage, but I've also seen other people playing it, and they're showing the response time of the sticks. I believe I saw it up, down, and excuse me, and he was showing the latency of the stick, and there was like no latency. He was playing Street Fighter, and a game that like Street Fighter, it's sorry, it's excuse me, sorry, it's very twitchy, so you have to be extremely accurate with it. You can't really tolerate input lag in a game like that. And he was pulling off everything that he needed to do exactly when he wanted to do it. And there was like no latency there. And I'm hearing a lot of these new services, they're doing in between 7 to 10 megabytes per second requirement to get this input free, right? So I'm not surprised by it. It is the future, and most people have at least 10 megabytes of internet. So providing you have at least 10 megabytes of internet, you should be able to do that. And if you don't have that in your house, you use it off your phone.
And when you say it is the future, because we have to remember, we have to explain everything 16 times so people that aren't really thinking like we are understand. When it is the future, you mean it's going to be a thing that people do. It's not necessarily forced or anything like that, but it's inevitable that it's going to happen like this.
It's not going to be forced. Of course, we're always going to have local hardware. Local hardware is obviously going to be, more powerful. You don't have to be tethered online with it. So, it's having the hardware obviously has its benefits. But for those that, are on the go and just want to pick up and play their favorite game for like an hour wherever they are on the road, they can do this. It's an option. It's not something that's going to be forced on people. I don't understand why people get freaked out by an option. If this is not for you, streaming is not for you, you got no desire for it, it's not gonna take away local hardware. Local hardware will always be a thing. These companies need to sell their chips. They need to make their revenue. Local hardware is not going anywhere.
Well, that's kind of hard to say, really, you think about it. If it blows up and it actually is a success, then they will say goodbye to local hardware eventually. If
maybe 20, 30 years from now.
Yeah, maybe like 2065 or something, but not anytime soon.
But as far as the service is concerned, I agree. It should just be an option. Like in terms of an option, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? If the moment is forced, that's that's the day I'm going. Mm-hmm. But as far as the entire thing is there, as far as everything is concerned, what we know about it so far, now you guys saying that the guy who played it, the guy seeing the video had no latency. For Google, they require 25 megabits download for this service. For Microsoft, they require 10 for theirs. Now, we have not seen Project xCloud actually in action. You know what I'm saying? We just gotten a few, pretty much a few little basically just estimates. Yeah, I would say estimates from Microsoft.
Some members of the press have hands-on with it. But you have to trust them.
Well, Wired.com did an interview. For those who missed it, Shady, just give us the basics of that.
Yeah, they did. They said that they got hands-on playing it on both a phone and a tablet, and they couldn't tell, other than the fact that the screen was small. It was console-quality gameplay with imperceivable lag happening. And they were very, very impressed. They actually called the technicians at Microsoft wizards or something along those lines to be able to pull it off with only a 10 meg down, which they stressed was basically everyone with a somewhat modern cell phone walking around outside. 10.8, that was big important. Like, it only 10 down, and that's already out there, and it can only get bigger and better as internet gets better out there as well. It sounds like a good thing.
Yeah, it sounds like a good thing until you count the fact that majority of the people around the world don't necessarily have crazy good internet.
Yeah, it wouldn't be
10 is very crazy good. 10 is pretty standard, is what they were trying to say. Is most people around the world do have 10, and it's starting to get blanketed. Like with 5G coming, blanketed.
I know somebody who gets 5, bro.
He's not everybody, and neither everybody. Like, most people is the point. Like, we're not here arguing about the guys at the bottom of the abyss in submarines without internet. We don't care.
That's true.
Like, this is modern gaming in the modern world, and most people live in big cities today. Most, not all, most, and this can cater to those people. So this could potentially just be massive and easily open the doors for console level gaming for a lot of people that have never had a chance to even see a console.
Yeah, Ryan's got a really good point there. There's people I was stuck on 3 for a long time. You know, and there are people watching on 3, but my point is it's not necessarily for those people.
Here's a chart from.
What about people who want to try it out though? Like you forget, like a lot of people, and I know you had experience.
I want to try out a Lamborghini, but you know what? I can't. I can't do it.
A lot of these people pay premium price for their internet, right? And they don't necessarily get what they're advertised. They'll say, "Oh, we offer you 17 here at AT&T," and you don't necessarily get 17 in your area.
Yeah. I would imagine they're going to do what you're doing, and they will run a test and even let you know if you qualify or something like that. But that kind of stuff, inconsistencies, there's just you can't really plan for that. That's kind of a case by case thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you can't get it, they can't get it. That sucks, but it looks like it's more hardware for you. You know.
Here's a chart from last year.
Becomes, on that, I mean to cut you off, Cole. I was about to say the moment Google Fiber becomes like when it gets worldwide, that'll be the day this actually takes off.
Yeah.
Here's a chart from last year that says the average U.S. Internet speed is 10.7, and UK averages over 25 megabits, and everything is over the 10 to 12 mark. UK, Germany, Finland, France, Norway, Denmark, Belgium, Romania, Austria, Japan, Australia, Netherlands, Slovakia, Spain, Kenya, Ireland, Sweden, Taiwan, I'm not reading them all, Indonesia, Italy, Egypt, Hungary, South Korea, Greece. Yeah, like all over Europe and the Middle East and in Asia, like everyone is over 10, close to 20 megabits per second. And I think we always hear people say, well, most people don't have. Like these blanket statements don't do anybody any good. Like Ryan said, if you want to try this out and you run the test and you have over 10 megabits, try out the streaming thing, see if it works for you, see if it feels like something you want to do, and it's just an additional way to play.
Yeah, that's true. And just, you know, like from experience myself, because I have 60 download, you know, so I have Charter Spectrum. But before I had Charter Spectrum, I paid for AT&T. And they gave me 17. They said, "Oh, it's like, oh, don't worry, it sounds low, but it's a super fast 17." I'm like, "How the fuck is it a super fast 17?" And when I did my cap, right, and I did my my data cap, you know, test or whatever, right? I even did it on the PlayStation. You know, you test your internet speed. I didn't get 17.
What did you get?
I didn't get my 17. I got like what was it, like 7, 10? I was getting up there, but I wasn't getting
fast 10 though.
It was a fast 10.
That's the thing. It's a fast 10. You're like, okay, I'll take your word for it, man. Especially when they give you proper, you know, customer service. You jump on UFC and get your ass kicked. Yeah, that's definitely a fast 10.
Hey, Sean in the super chat agrees. Some of these older things are just older infrastructures, and I don't think that's a coincidence that Microsoft's shooting for 10 and the average around most of the world is 10 right now. Of course, there's lower, there's higher. But all that, you know, all you can do is an average and hope, you know. So I guess we'll see how that ends up. Who else played COD Black Ops 4 in here? D has played it. Zalker, you played it. Shady, you've played it. Anybody else?
I just played the beta.
I played it a little bit. So what's going on with the accolades here? It's apparently doing extremely well in sales, right, Zalker?
Yeah, it's doing pretty damn well. Apparently, it broke all of Activision's digital records for sale, and to be honest with you, I think it earned it. I mean, just the blackout mode alone has brought me so much entertainment. Watching Dealer get stuck in a garage as the walls coming around him and cussing up a storm, wondering what's happening.
I basically was stuck in an oven at that point. Fucking garage door shuts on me, and I'm getting baked alive by the fucking radiation. Yeah, it was interesting.
It's a great.
Oh, go ahead, Zucker.
Sorry, buddy. It's a great move from going from PUBG to this. I mean, the hit detection is far better. The frame rates are far better. Everything. I mean, me and my buddy we won 2 games in a row last night, and it was super intense. It's just so much fun. It's a lot better game, and they hit it out of the park. And it's the first AAA studio to go up against, to me, Fortnite. And I just love everything that they're doing with it. I haven't even touched zombies too much or the multiplayer much, but there's a lot of content in this game. I know people are mad about the single player campaign, but I'm going to say there's a lot of content and endless amount of hours of entertainment on it, guys.
I got to give DS Criollo a shout out in the super chat. He agrees if any company can do it, it's going to be a company like Microsoft with the streaming stuff. Yeah, there's a few titans out there I think could do it, and Microsoft are definitely one of them. I'm there's people that are really upset about the lack of a single player. Anybody in here does that affect anybody in here?
Yeah, that was.
They still charge you $60.
Yep.
Yeah, the price.
That's the problem. If it was like $40, $50, then sure, why not? You know what I'm saying? But if the fact that they're cutting out something that's been fucking standard in every single game, regardless if they were good or not, yeah, I'm not really a fan of that.
I mean, they did cut out the story, but they did, in argument's sake, triple the zombie content at launch. There's 3 full zombie campaigns, plus Blackout is a totally new mode that has never been offered by them before. So they take out the story and give you 2 different things, if you will, or more of one thing and a brand new other. The game is shattering records digitally. It is the fastest selling digital game on the PlayStation. It's outselling the exclusive games digitally on PlayStation on its own. So you can't use the argument of, well, it's because it's on Xbox or PC. Like, compared to just the Sony platform, it is doing numbers on just that one over there, let alone everywhere else. I predict the biggest selling COD here.
Casual game of all time, though. I mean, that's always the fact when it comes to Call of Duty.
It is, but as big as Call of Duty is, more people. I mean, we're not even going to get into it. We're not getting into it. Yeah. The game is doing awesome. The game's doing fantastic. I'm having a really good time with it. And as far as there being no story, if people give it a chance, actually, and you start delving into the specialists that you can play as, each has a CGI cutscene that explains their character and builds out the world. And I'm not super versed on the lore of Black Ops, but a lot of this connects to what happened in previous Black Ops stories and stuff like that. Just when you just first click on the specialist button, there's a 3 to 5 minute amazing quality cutscene that starts to explain what's happening in this game. And it was unbelievable. Like, the quality was insane. The level of violence in that trailer was amazing. Well, not trailer, but cutscene was insane. I want that out of the cutscene into the gameplay myself. But beyond that, I mean, the game is really, really good. It's fast paced. Any fans of Battle Royale out there, man, they got to check it out any way you can. It's damn good.
Hey, and I'm gonna Blue Shell real quick in the super chat says the first one he's bought since Infinite Warfare. So I mean, you're not alone, man. People are they're picking it up, but I definitely get that Activision are extremely wealthy. They're making most of their money from microtransactions, not even the games or the DLC. Yeah. And then they take the most time consuming and expensive part of the game to make, and people are saying, well, they replaced it with the Battle Royale. They took out the, but that should have been used to accent. I mean, you got a bunch of crackheads in a garage putting out PUBG, and and that's the mode that they added. That they could have pretty easily implemented, I think.
I heard they were trying to go all out in the campaign, and something didn't work, so they had to stop. Like, they actually did try, or do you think that's just damage control on their end?
No, they might be
intention.
They might be spending 2 times as much as they spend on the multiplayer modes to do a single player campaign with motion capture and voice actors. And they look at the numbers, and I don't blame them. They look at the numbers and said, a lot of these people aren't even playing the campaign. They just jump into multiplayer and play it for 9 or 10 months. And they made a business decision. They said, let's save that money. Let's put in Battle Royale. Let's give them the DLC, which was zombies. And there you go.
Yeah. I mean, that makes it sound like they had no intention of doing this campaign, where I thought they came out and said, we were trying something new. It didn't work out, and we were unable to do it. So we transitioned into the Battle Royale, which was currently on the up and up and up, and poured everything they could there, because the campaign just fell apart, and they knew they couldn't get it done.
So this happened to be the first time in COD history where they're like, oh man, the campaign just didn't work out. It just was
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is it your opinion that they're damage controlling that, or do you think they honestly tried and failed?
They had 3 years to make it. There's no way the campaign fell apart last minute or halfway through. This was intentional. And I want to know your thoughts on this, because you're probably over there playing fucking Odyssey as I speak. What are your thoughts on the campaign-less Call of Duty, and do you think this is going to be a continuing trend?
Are you talking to me, your dealer?
Yeah, boom.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I missed that. No, I'm actually not playing AC. I'm
put his controller down.
Yeah. No, I'm going back to that. Sorry about that. Listen, here's the thing. I've always been $100 Call of Duty guy, and I never played. Very rarely, I put maybe 15 or 20 hours into the multiplayer, but I bought it for the single player campaign. I skipped this year. I entered a lot of contests. I didn't win, so I didn't get it. And I to be completely honest, I'm not missing a thing, in my opinion, because I don't really enjoy Battle Royale. It's just not a mode that I enjoy. I'm more of a single player guy. That's why I have 80 plus hours in Assassin's Creed because I'm really enjoying just running around doing all these missions. Now, I'm not going to say that Blackout trailer did not sell me, because to be honest, it did. It looks fantastic. But I don't think it's worth the $60 price point. And I'm saying that because Blackout would be the only thing that I play, and I might dive into zombies a little bit, but I would not put any time into the Call of Duty multiplayer. That's the standard. And I think for me, that's where the value just, falls off.
To me, it seems like we just fall for the same formula from them, like the same marketing technique. Like, for example, you said you thought the trailer looked good, right?
Yes.
Well, for Black Ops 3, if I remember correctly, the zombie trailer for that looked dope too, didn't it?
It did.
I mean, technically, it's same shit. Like, they always get you with a crazy CGI trailer.
That marketing.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. Like, they don't really try. They go the cheap route.
That's fine, man. Like, if some people aren't going to pick it up because no single player, and that's fine. But the problem is people attack those people because they're so engrossed in the game. Like I say, I'm not even into it. I don't even like Call of Duty, and I definitely don't like the fact that it doesn't have a single player, but I'm still a fuckface because I bought the game.
Right. I'm like, somebody hated that.
That's my fault.
Right. Somebody hated that I called this out too for the Blackout mode. But basically, the Blackout mode, literally just all the old maps together. That's all it is. Like, there's nothing really new. They didn't really,
which is awesome, by the way. When you come up on a familiar map from all these different angles,
it is.
It's cool. You're like, oh my god, it's this map. It feels really good. And then never before seen in COD, like never before in COD, is that giant open area with all the hills, the rocks. You're on your vehicles. You're taking cover. Like, it does have a different feel from previous CODs. I highly recommend it for Battle Royale fans.
Well,
but
I have to kind of close this topic out with this because we've been Call of Duty for a while. I want to say that keep in mind, people, that when you say fuck the single player, we don't need it. They don't need to add nothing. I'm not asking for more. Remember how much money Activision make and how much money they literally make off of selling you microtransactions. It's billions. And in my opinion, as a consumer, ask for more. Who cares if you don't care? These fuckers can afford it, and they're definitely able to afford it. So I still ask for them to bring single player back in the next game, and hopefully they can kind of appease more people. Naughty Dog secret new project, Cold Eastwood. What's going on with this, huh?
Well, I'm not quite sure. Ryan can help me out, but I've been hearing that Naughty Dog has a second team. Is that right, Ryan?
Yeah, each Sony dev is split into two teams. Now, as far as the rumored game, I have no clue what it is.
It's a sci-fi game of some sort, which is massive. There just aren't enough sci-fi games lately. I don't know if that's just me thinking that, but I just don't feel like
I've been hearing about that since the first Last of Us, though.
I don't. If that's true, then they could have their game really soon. In like 2 years, 3 years. Who knows?
It could be, because they did hint at a space game with like the little collectibles that you get in The Last of Us, the first game. Yeah, I remember like those little comic books you can get. So it might be a space sci-fi type game. It might be.
Well, maybe they're trying to go a complete different direction, because if you keep in mind Uncharted, Last of Us, they do take place in these very beautiful kind of urban or forested areas, and they're like, fuck it, we can really catch people off guard and fucking put it on a different planet even. Like, that's the thing. As a developer, you are the god of your own universe, and you can do whatever you want. And, Neil,
all you got to do is beat Mass Effect Andromeda and you're golden. I'm sure they can make something really awesome. And I was talking about it in my last video, and I showed a minute of Far Cry Lost on Mars, which what a great surprise that little game was. But
co-op, yes.
Yes, when you're in co-op, right? Yeah. Pretty fun.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to almost 650 people on this live, guys. We appreciate it. Hit that like button. It really helps the show, as I'm severely distracted.
But let me close out that topic and say that if they're as close as we may be thinking, that they could have something for the PS5 launch or not long after, have a Naughty Dog game like really soon, because if they're going to finish The Last of Us for the end of next year and 1 year from now, that could be really good for PS5, in the first year or two.
A lot of people are speculating 2019 releases. Like, a lot of people think we're going to get the Scarlett reveal at the XO18 event or XO18 event.
Maybe.
Not going that far, but we will.
A little hard to swallow there, but I don't think we're getting it this early.
We'll cover all that stuff towards the back half of the show. But yeah, it's just definitely some interesting stuff going on with those two platforms. And I don't know. Whatever. Zauker, I need your help.
What's up?
EA, they're considering, and you know what, RTS is an underrated genre in my opinion. It just fell off. It was oversaturated in the 90s, and they almost died. That's how oversaturated they were, and I feel like they're a really good genre that people don't take the time to wrap their heads around. Strategy type games, but EA are considering Command & Conquer remasters for their anniversary, and personally, I would say sure, go for it. But you're already outclassed in terms of the newest Command & Conquers and stuff. You're outclassed by StarCraft, Supreme Commander, stuff like that, Rise of Nations, and your mechanics and the way things work. If they were to update and remaster a Command & Conquer game, do you feel like they would definitely need to, much like Gears Ultimate, Gears of War 1 remade for Xbox One, how they updated things in the multiplayer with the rolling and the moving and stuff to make it better, King of the Hill. Do you think they would need to kind of update the core mechanics of Command & Conquer and maybe change how it works to make it more playable?
If they're going to do this, honestly, they need to not cheap out on it and go all out and either remaking it, like you said, with a little bit different mechanics and update it. Because StarCraft 2, like you said, is almost perfectly mechanical. Like, it's just beautiful. It runs smooth and everything. And that's what they need to do. I played Command & Conquer. I played Red Alert. I played every RTS you could probably damn think of because I love that genre. I love those games. And when I read that, I was happy. I want to see that because when they put that on E3, when they're like Command & Conquer, I was like, oh my god, a mobile game. I was like, F everything you just did to me, you piece of shit. I literally wanted to punch my monitor.
Worst fucking briefing I've probably ever seen in my life. EA's last E3 briefing was fucking abysmal with Command & Conquer cell phone fuck you edition for a new generation. It was so horrible. But
and the worst,
they don't try. They don't care.
The worst thing was the people damage controlling it because they're so desperate for a Command & Conquer game. They're like, maybe it'll be good, and I'm just like, shut up.
Maybe I'll never listen to you again.
My favorite defense. Have you played it yet? Okay, then your opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I just want it to be really. I just want them to actually don't lose its soul. Like maybe change some mechanics, but try to keep its soul. Don't. And the way you do that is you hire talented people to make it. And that's what they need to do is they need to actually put effort, time, and money into this.
So
and don't
you
rush
need to do the three things that you haven't done in a while.
So basically, we're fucked.
Yeah, we're fucked. So hey, I just for those that are curious and you're RTS fans, maybe you like Halo Wars, you might want to pay attention to what's going on with Command & Conquer. That's the OG shit. That's what I got started on.
Oh yeah,
moved up through the ranks. So hopefully they kind of.
I need some shoes.
Red Dead 2. We got a lot of information here on Red Dead 2. As you know, Red Dead 2 is going to be an absolutely massive game. Comes out here the 26th, I do believe. And it's set to blow people's fucking minds out the back of their skulls. So for one, we've got some kind of metrics here. It's nearly 100 gigabyte day one installs, we said before. They have 1,200 actors. They have over 300,000 animations. I've heard some games have as little as 400. So they have over 300,000 animations. That goes from horses, characters, everything, death animations. You're looking at a lot of good stuff there. 2,200 days of mocap in the game as well. And what's going on with this 100-hour work week debacle? People are saying, boycott, Ryan. Boycott it.
Sweatshop.
Apparently,
they're
the very top guys from the company and his crew of writers, like Laszlo and the owners, and literally they said it was like 13 guys. They've been working this way for over a decade. They get together in the last like 2-3 weeks and they go absolutely hard. It's not the way that the rest of the company operates whatsoever. None of that is expected or demanded. People come and do their work and they go home. He did specify there are a few individuals that have no problem sticking around and more or less living at the place. Like it's their passion and that's what they want to do. So there are those outliers, but he did stress that was not like a demanded everyone at Rockstar is doing 100 hours a week. We're cracking the whip because people took it that way, man. And they are flipping out big time. But
they're telling you to boycott their work instead of show your support and actually maybe check the work out, Don't lie.
You can play this game guilt-free. There was no sweatshop labor, quote unquote, put into it. Like, so we can all have a good time here and don't worry about that.
My thing is this: don't we complain about these devs half-assing like all these games?
Yes.
So a developer takes the time out his fucking day to make sure you who's watching gets a quality experience that's worth the money.
And to simulate horse balls too, most importantly.
Exactly, go fall out with detail, everything, and you're gonna cry.
Great feature.
He's doing that.
Ryan's right. We complain way more about the half-ass thing, and here they are like bending over backwards. They got their team. And I know like they're talking about 13 people, but you know, the rest of their team is working hard. They're working, you know, even when you work 5 hours overtime, it feels like you live there. And these guys are, we already know what Rockstar does on the level they do.
Yeah, like when you look at Rockstar, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Quality. They always put out quality games. They never half-assed a game. Never. They never half-assed it. So for them to put in the extra mile for a game, obviously they're doing that for your best intentions, for you to have the best experience. For people to say they're doing that because they're under like some obligation, no, they're just doing that because they want to give you the best experience possible. What would you rather have? A game that works day one or a game that has a bunch of fucking patches day one?
That's what I was telling people that were talking about the Crackdown delay and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you guys have got to understand. You got to be able to see that it's good to delay. That's why Horizon Zero Dawn that got delayed, Uncharted 4, fucking all kinds of games get delayed, and those games are better for it. So, like, that gives me Crackdown, honestly.
Well, I believe it's blown out of proportion because of what happened recently with Telltale. And the developer saying we didn't get compensated for working weekends and overtime. And a lot of people are in this hunt the man down, right? Hunt the companies down. And now people hear about this 100-hour work week and they're just hyperballing it to the max because of, you know, the news that we heard just a few weeks ago.
Dying Telltale is not the same thing as Rockstar.
Exactly.
Big difference.
I mean, the same thing was happening with Crytek, and they were going under. People weren't getting paid. They weren't able to cash checks. There's no money to cash. So, Boom, what are your quick thoughts on this whole debacle? Boycott!
Well, the debacle itself is ridiculous. And, you know, again, we were talking privately, me and Dealer, and, you know, the internet sheep, right? They just right? Everyone, you know, they one thing flies out there and just everybody just, you know, doesn't fact check or read the story. It's, you know, you have to understand when you hear these things before lighting the torches and grabbing your pitchfork from the hay, you should probably try and just read something. You know, that's what I do. And, you know, like we all have like channels, and when we're going to put something out there, we all do the fact check. If something could be so juicy, like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening, but I'll check with 3 different sites to make sure, and I'll check 3 more afterwards. So, you know what, that doesn't even concern me. What concerns me, Dealer, is how the hell am I going to fit another 100-hour game in my life? That's what I'm talking about.
The question is, are you going to be able to wrap up Odyssey before?
I'm trying, man, and I really am. And it's just, you know what, I keep saying it, and I should get a shirt that says this, the Witcher 3 effect, because I can't just go to one mission. I'm always helping somebody or doing something. And this, you know, they said 60 plus hours for the single player campaign. And, you know, Dealer, you and I, we comb everything. So we're going to be putting 120 hours into it.
I ain't even combing everything. I'm fucking finding big ass side, like the side missions are really, really, really getting good where you're finding like mythical creatures and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just stumbling onto those, and those take an hour to do. And I'm loving every second of it. There's no grind there. You know, I'm just having a fucking blast. So, I'm going to try to get through Odyssey beforehand because I don't want to go from that to Red Dead and learn all these new, you know what I'm saying? I want to stay immersed and kind of do my thing. So let us know what you think about this this whole boycott thing, 100 hours for some people. It's not like this is the only profession that does 100-hour work weeks. There's only a few people at the studio that were actually doing it voluntarily. So I think that's just really interesting how people just always trying to fucking jump on some things. Like the microtransaction things, Odyssey, so horrible. Even though I won't say anything about the Red Dead 2 atrocities, the Red Dead 2 microtransactions are going to be way worse, and that's going to be in the online section, which affects other people. So I don't know. We'll see who speaks up on that kind of stuff. I think it's
Ryan and I like argue 100 hours a week on Twitter together. So you know, it's like everybody's putting in the work.
Look at the console war. How many of these motherfuckers on the internet? As long as the Rockstar is supposedly working, and they get no compensation,
doing it all for free.
There you go. No compensation. There you go.
Yeah, definitely not worth the time. But yeah, let us know what you think, chat. And for those that watch the show after the fact, let us know what you think on Red Dead, if you're going to pick it up and things like that. The initiative, speaking of Red Dead, just picked up a Rockstar technical director. His name is Tom Shepard. And the role of a technical director is to basically oversee all programming. This guy's essentially one of the best programmers and coders around, and he gets promoted as technical director to see all of the advanced coding and technical perspective on the project. And I think that's a great thing because everyone's like, man, Rockstar, look at Red Dead, right? Look at GTA 5 when it came. I can't believe it looks this good on 360. How do Rockstar squeeze all of the juice out of their platforms at all times? And that's because you've got people like Shepard here, technical director before he came to the initiative at Rockstar, getting all of that juice out of the hardware, meaning the initiative are definitely going to have some good stuff to show us. D, what are your thoughts on this here?
I haven't really read too much into that story, to be honest with you. But if anyone's going to do it, it's definitely going to be the initiative. They got some of the best people in the industry over there right now. I'm excited, like everybody else, to see what they're going to pump out. I honestly think we might see something what they're working on at the XO event. That'd be the perfect place
Really?
to. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah,
I think at E3 this year they're going to have to show us something, right? So I would think they'd give us some type of teaser at XO.
I don't think
I
we'll
highly
see
doubt
anything
that.
from those guys for a couple years.
You really think so? They're not going to show us anything, like any type of
Like they
behind
just
the
hired their.
something?
I mean, they could show us like the studio and stuff, but they just hired their lead producer, the guy that was the lead producer for God of War 2018. He went through the initiative. They got a bunch of They got Rockstar, Red Dead's lead writer, one of the writers from Red Dead. They got a bunch of people from the BioShock team, like all kinds, like the elite.
Wow.
You need 10 years of experience just to work here.
They're
And
really
you need
going
20
all out.
years to be like in a leading role, apparently. So
Did this all happen this week? This was all confirmed this week?
no, just one guy this week, but I've covered the others before.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's well, wow. I can't wait to see what they produce, man.
They
we're not
aren't
going to see
fucking
anything.
around. They
We're
got
not gonna see
Rocksteady
anything
guys
for
too,
a while.
real quick. They do have Rocksteady employees as well. So
I'm so excited, and the greedy guy in me just hopes that whatever the hell they make falls into something that really resonates with myself. It's going to be good for someone out there. I just hope I'm in that group whenever it comes out.
what were you saying, Zucker?
No, I'm saying that I don't think we're going to see anything for at least a year or two. I mean, when you just hire your lead programmer, I mean, what are you going to be able to show, right? So it's just this is a long haul, and the initiative is basically they're going to let them sit there for a while and really hit this out of the park before they show anything. And that's what Xbox has been doing.
You don't think they've worked on anything yet? Do you think they're just acquiring people right now?
I mean, they just announced it at E3 and they're hiring like crazy. I mean, I don't think they have enough people to even show anything yet. And I don't even think they have the concept of, I mean, they might have the concept of the idea of what they want to make, obviously, but they don't have anything to show us. Maybe a title screen, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And they also just hired 177 devs for the Playground game too. So
I guess so.
Yeah, don't count on seeing any initiatives the furthest out, I would say, because coming up with the concept of their game is going to take them 6 to 8 months by itself, easy. Like you got to come up with an idea.
In all honesty, I would just like to see. So I understand what Microsoft is doing, but the gamer in me, the consumer in me, I kind of want to see what they're working at, even if it's the plans, the blueprints, the story, something. Let us know what you're working on, because it's been so dry on Microsoft's side, to be honest with you. The only thing I'm really looking forward for them, to be honest with you, is Gears of War. And Halo. Halo looks fantastic, but we need more than that. Sony's showing us games that are 3-4 years out.
Yeah.
And I don't care that they're 3-4 years out. At least I know they're coming and what they're working on, and it gives me excitement for the future. Microsoft needs to do the same.
I was already just gonna get a banner though of something. That's all.
A what? A banner?
A banner just telling you, hey, look, this is the title. There you go.
Yes, that's what I've
You
been
can almost see
saying.
it in 4 years. Hey, I want to give Gaming Addict a shout out. Spider-Man, Lethal Papa, all you dudes in the chat, man. Sorry, I multitask like a motherfucker. I'd love to respond to more chat stuff and all that, but I'm always looking at something. Always got to do something here. So good news at the end of the day, though. The initiative shaping up to be one of the juggernauts of the industry, one of the so-called quadruple A studios with budgets well over $100 and some odd million, which has already been done, but it's looking to be pretty interesting stuff. Hey, Colt, Aaron Greenberg here recently basically saying in an interview that Phil over in Japan is trying to form relationships and continue that trust building. But he also says that they will probably reveal some of these secret Japanese projects at E3 2018. He did go into detail about, their statistics when it came to E3 2018, saying it was the most Japanese support they've ever shown at any one E3. What do you think they could possibly double down on at 2019? I heard that they were bringing like Nio and stuff over somehow, some way. What what are your thoughts there with Japanese support?
I guess that's the only thing that would mean anything to me. It's kind of difficult for me to gauge that stuff. There's a lot of those games I don't really play or watch or check out. But I know Nioh is really popular a year and a half ago or whatever it was, and it's just one of those games that should have came to Xbox.
And they've announced Nioh 2, right? So that it's a very real possibility, much like Titanfall 1 and 2. Maybe the first one just won't come to a certain platform, but the second one might.
Yeah, I mean, there's some popular games. There's a lot of Xbox fans that are asking for Yakuza and other stuff like that, and hopefully they're just over there at least saying, "Hey, we've got 40 million consoles, and you're going to sell some more copies of your game. Let's get it ported." I don't know why that isn't an automatic thing at this point. There's so many games that the PlayStation 4 gets, and then also the PC gets, and sometimes the Switch gets. It just does not come to Xbox. And when I look at all those listings, I'm like, what is going on? Where's the disconnect here? Like, what is the reasoning for these games that they're not my type of thing, but there are people that like those games, and that's why they play mainly on a PlayStation.
I think it's that relationship he's trying to build.
Well,
I mean, was there a bad relationship or what?
Well, I mean, when your console sells six in a year, yeah, I mean, there's not too much incentive
right
over there in Japan, so
if you remember, if you look in the deep history of Xbox, Peter Moore, he talked about basically tackling the Japanese market with Xbox 360 and the things that he did and the relationships he built in Japan. And, Phil seems to be taking a page out of his book. And, if they're saying that there's secret projects, I don't know if it's just the third-party developers that only bring it on PlayStation that they're trying to just get that. Maybe they are trying to get if you guys remember, a Blue Dragon type of game going where it's an exclusive to Xbox and its Japanese base to break into the market. Because that's, like they said, they've sold three Xboxes there, and one of them somebody tipped over and broke and had to pay for it. I mean, nobody buys it there. That's just that's just what it is. And I think maybe he's trying to break into that market and actually attract more fans. And even if it's 2 to 3 million, that's still 2 to 3 million people on your ecosystem.
I think he's doing it more for people over here in the West at this point. I think they've just decided Japan's a lost cause. I don't know. It's a form of nationalism over there that says, hey, we're just going to buy our own stuff, and we're not going to fuck with stuff that's not really ours. And, that's been proven over the decades. That's a lot of people are like that. And they just don't really prefer Xbox. It doesn't offer them the type of games they want either. On top of that, and I think, if anything, he's probably trying to get that Japanese support because those games are already made, and maybe he can spend $1 or $2 or offer an incentive to just, hey, port it over to this thing. It's x86 architecture as well. And you'll make some money, and maybe we'll throw a bone your way, and we'll satisfy that small, but at the end of the day, a need on Xbox for some people, Maybe.
When I first heard a secret Japanese announcement, my mind went instantly to South Park, and I'm thinking maybe some kind of a secret holiday bundaroo.
What the fuck?
It could come out. It could come out. They might do something with, like you said, Neo. They might have something with a game or two Japanese games bundled in, maybe.
Well, Dealer, I'm not sure if you remember, but closer to E3 of last year, there was some talk, and it didn't transpire, obviously, but Ninja Gaiden was supposed to be in the works as an Xbox exclusive. Now, obviously, if you're an OG Xbox owner, that's where the new Ninja Gaiden was born, and it would be great for them to bring it over. Listen, at this point, I would take an HD remaster of that, even though it's backwards compatible, but getting an original Ninja Gaiden title as an Xbox One exclusive would be fantastic. So maybe something like that is in the works.
Could very well be. But at the end of the day, we'll have to wait. Aaron, like I said, did say maybe you'll see some of those secret Japanese projects at E3 2019. And we got to get another shout out to over 600 people watching this live. Guys, hit that like button. Let's try to get up to 300 before the end of the show. God damn it. And as we kind of move on to our next subject, but like I said, Japanese support, it is stronger recently than it has been all generation probably. And we'll see how they kind of continue there. A Rare employee potentially leaks what many are saying could be an XO18 announcement. I don't know if you guys saw this, but basically Paul Matchett, what's this guy's name? Matchett Plech? I don't know.
You got it.
That's the one, yeah.
Matchett back. Paul Matchett back. He basically puts a potential title for the next Banjo game in his bio or something. And the official Rare account comments on this, and Paul says, "Well, I've been putting tons of Easter eggs out there, and it's taken months for people to notice this. Now, this is my, I don't know, man. I see the occasional guy saying, bring back Banjo and Conquer. And I just want you guys to really think about this for a second. Personally, I was into Conquer for one, because I was fucking like, I don't know, 10. I was like, the squirrel said a bad word. Like, for one, to re-envision Conquer in a more relevant way, to make it something that's going to draw people to the platform and something that's a hardcore, or because if you're talking about Conquer, you're talking about hardcore, right?
Right.
The problem is the hardcore is now 10, 15 years older, and that presents a problem for a lot of those people. So for that to be really,
probably give it the
really
Crash,
big,
Sandy type of look, if you think about it.
I don't know, man. I just Banjo, Conquer. I'm not into Banjo either. I can't. It doesn't excite me, and I'm asking Microsoft for new IP. We need new IP. I know you have a stable of older stuff, but you can make anything you want. And Banjo and Conquer, personally, and this is just me, it doesn't excite me. I'm sure it excites a lot of you in the chat, but me, it just doesn't. I would not put a big studio, especially one of your newly acquired studios, on Banjo or Conquer. And I'm just, I don't know, whatever. It could be, it couldn't be, but that's kind of the rumor right now, especially since the official Rare account did comment on that. Does this get anybody else excited? Potential of a new Banjo?
Oh, I have to jump right in. I'm sorry. I am super stoked for this for two reasons. One, I've been banging this drum since E3. I thought we were going to get the announcement of, because, they made a big deal of Banjo-Kazooie 20th anniversary, right? So I thought for sure it was almost like cash in the bag.
Can you, do something to the stream?
I'm sorry?
It's saying the stream saying it's unavailable. Everybody can say in the chat, and it's even saying on my screen, stream unavailable.
It says live.
I guess it's video unavailable. Let me hit refresh on my browser.
I just did that too.
An error occurred just now.
What the hell?
Oh, man.
Playback ID, something. Yeah. Oh, boy.
Hold on. We might be back. Let me see.
Know. Well, I mean, until it says off air here, maybe it'll render complete. I don't know.
The chat
It's just us talking anyways, boys. Let's keep going.
Well, listen, anyway, it says live, so I'm going to go with it. I had a bit of
we've been live for like an hour. If it gets cut off, I'll make a statement on Twitter. But if you guys can still hear us, we're just going to continue. If you can't, then none of this matters. So go ahead.
So you're hyped for the Conquer, my man?
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for Banjo-Kazooie for a couple of reasons. One, I say this all the time. I'm the oldest one here, so I did not play Banjo-Kazooie as like a kid, like a 10-year-old. I played it like a 20-something-year-old, and I'm not ashamed. Damn it.
No, it's fine.
I really enjoyed it. I think that a game of that stature, okay, we have shooters, we have racers, we have all these violent games. It's nice just to play something a little bit off pace. And I kind of really like, for instance, a lot of people broke balls about Lucky's Tale. You know what? I've actually really enjoyed Lucky's Tale. So the same way I would put the time and effort into beating Lucky's Tale and finding all these bloody coins, I would probably put that exact same effort into Banjo-Kazooie. And I really hope, even if they don't give us Banjo 3 as they're saying it, give me at least a 20th anniversary, like HD remaster.
Okay.
The way I look at it is the same way I look at Sony with the whole Sly Cooper thing. Like, they could have had Sly Cooper 5 by now, but they haven't really dropped that at all. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug. You see that
even outside of our own hardcore, like some of these older guys here that have been playing for a long time, I've always considered myself extremely lucky to have grown up with the industry that is basically catered to my needs as I was getting older. When I was a kid, video games were for kids, so they made a lot of kid games. When I was a teenager, you saw your first side boob. Someone dropped a fuck bomb in your first game. There was a little bit of blood going on. And then as I became a young adult, it kept escalating. And now that I'm, up there, the games are becoming very, very mature. Look at Witcher as an example. Very mature content and dialogue in that game. And I love seeing it. I have noticed that a lot of games, most games are mature and stuff these days. They don't have big budget games engineered or geared towards the young 10-year-olds, the 12-year-olds, the 13-year-olds of today, to get them involved in the ecosystem and addicted to some of these characters like the Banjo-Kazooies that we had. I mean, if it has to be a new IP, maybe make that for them. But I think there's a big market for I'll call it kids games,
You
so
could
to
be
speak,
right.
to
You
get
could be
them in
very,
there.
very
So,
right. But here's something I've noticed is even like my nieces, I know Colt's kids have spoken on this. Like I've tried to get them to even try Lucky's Tale, and they're like, "What the fuck? No."
Mhm.
You know, like Colt's kids, they don't want to play Lucky's Tale. I think that things have changed a bit, but but you're very right. There could be a massive market out there. I'll ask Boom real quick. What do you think about? I know Playful, their last game wasn't the greatest. It's like a 66 or something on Metacritic, and that'd be Lucky Tales or whatever. Maybe they could kind of send some people there to help them out, get a better head of the studio, because it is a rumor that they could purchase Playful as well, which I think would be a mistake personally, unless you replace all of the staff, change the name, and basically call it something else. But basically, what if they put Playful in charge of Banjo-Kazooie and let Rare focus on something else?
You know what? At this point, just to get a new Banjo-Kazooie game, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, because you got, listen, we had 3 of them, right? We had the one on the 360, which was fantastic. I'm not sure of how many people actually played it, but it was really, really good.
Yeah.
And I would like to see this. Even look, maybe you don't want to, put a lot of millions of dollars into, Banjo 3E. I get it. But and you know what, I see what you're saying, and you know what, you have a point, but at least do the title justice and celebrate the 20th anniversary. Do an HD remaster of the original, and everyone will be happy.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I could give two. Like, I'll be honest with you, I can give 2 shits about Banjo-Kazooie, but I will say I do want a Conquer game, because as a kid I played that game a lot with my buddy, and I don't know if you guys remember when there was like the free-for-all where you would just go against those evil freaking teddy bears shooting rockets at you. And then when you headshot the damn teddy bears, instead of blood, it's like cotton flying out because they're dying. Dude, it was so creative and just so much fun in Conquer. Like, he had that mission where he was like in Matrix. Like, it was just a great time for me. And I really want Conquer to come back in a far more mature way and just a better way. Like, it just, I would like Rare to make that. And if you listen to Rare, they put a lot of hints out and stuff about what their next games are. Even in Sea of Thieves, somebody brought up something like, "Hey, is there hints for your next game in Sea of Thieves? Because I saw something," and the guy's like, I don't know, maybe, and laughed and walked away. Like, the developer, like they fuck with their fan base. They're hilarious.
Thieves, and he melted into a puddle.
He brought out a banana and he was like, "You want to eat some?"
Skeletons don't eat bananas, okay? So I don't know. You know what I think they should do if they're going to do this? Reimagine an original game with updated mechanics and visuals, and then test the market that way.
Yeah.
Instead of going full force, fucking, whatever. But, like I said, each of us have our opinions. Let us know yours in the chat. Would you be excited for a game like that? And then dedicating a studio to that. That's a good chunk of time. I want to talk about XO a little bit more. They did confirm some news there, announcements, special guests, and more from the event. And like I said, remember, this Rare was announced to be acquired at XO back in the day. I've seen something behind the scenes that I'm not allowed to show, unfortunately. It's kind of like my source for the 600 developers. I wish I could show you what I've got on that. But I've seen something there behind the scenes that tells me that that's the Obsidian thing is confirmed. That you will most likely hear at XO18. They have apparently acquired Obsidian. I reported on this months ago, and then finally Kotaku and them caught up to us, what we've talked about months ago on this podcast, and said, "Hey, we've got sources that are saying that they're 90% acquired." And then I get this other thing the other day that tells me that, yes, this is definitely a thing. Obsidian are Microsoft's. And we'll see. But XO could definitely have an announcement like that. And that's extremely interesting. Ryan, do you think something like Obsidian, Fallout 4, and all these other games, they made some duds, largely in their financial struggles, but they've got a ton of capability there as an RPG studio. What are your thoughts on them acquiring that? Is that good news for competition?
I definitely believe that is good news. It does show that they're trying, you know what I'm saying? And we do need competition at the end of the day. As far as like if they're going to be good or not, only time will tell. You know what I'm saying? We haven't gotten them yet, but I do believe that's good that they are trying to at least, get more out there for everybody.
I will
and
say
God
that's
knows they need
the best and biggest independent studios left before Microsoft were to acquire them, It's one of the big ones, you know.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, they got a lot of talent on their hands now. And now it's just up to them to, pretty much get the potential out of these developers. You know, they got Compulsion Games, The Initiative, they got who else did they acquire?
The Initiative, Compulsion, they've got Playground, apparently, Obsidian, apparently,
Yeah. So it's really up to them to get the most out of the talent, you know? It really is. And they gotta let them really make the future. They gotta help them get that out there. You know what I'm saying? And I hope they do definitely deliver with the next console. If not, then well, you already know what's you're already seeing the console generation in a nutshell when it's a damn minority. You know what I'm saying? Like when people you already seen it.
You want
one
competition.
company has all the positive. Yeah, you need all the competition in the world because the moment Sony gets cocky,
I'm telling you, you get 2 jobs and shit.
Yeah. Exactly. People forgot about that. People go, Sony's this, that, and third. But last time I checked, Sony was like, "Oh, don't worry, we're not worried about that. $600 ain't shit. These people are going to get, work 2 jobs to buy this console." The damn console comes out, and yes, it did sell out. It did sell out, but did it sell out the following week after that? No,
it didn't.
It went to shit.
It
went to shit.
It struggled for the first year. I remember that launch vividly. It struggled for the first year. Only reason why I got one, to be honest with you, was because of the Blu-ray functionality. It was cheaper than a standalone Blu-ray player, and it was actually better. So I said, okay, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, like my favorite picture involving the drama behind the PS3, it literally was a PlayStation 3 holding a gun to his head, like, just kill me now. Like, it was funny as shit, but that's literally how bad they started off with the generation. And looking at the PS4 again, just shows like, we are pretty much the voice behind this. If we don't speak up and demand better, then well, we all pretty much struggle.
Yeah.
So
you want everyone to do really well, and I think both companies benefit from that kind of stuff. As I covered here recently, PlayStation 5 patents from Gaming Vault. Apparently, besides the VSync thing, which I just made fun of them for because they're idiots, they did go over some patents about backwards compatibility and how legacy software will be automatically drawn from newer hardware and blah blah blah. So, as we've said before, PS5 backwards compatibility, common sense. And speaking of, also, I'm just going to throw it out there. Me and Ram were talking about this as well. We both kind of we were in a party and we started talking about it at the exact same time, which is hilarious. PS5, I said this on a podcast yesterday. Expect that next year. So Colt's initial video, 50-50 shot here. He hit the sniper target. So you can expect PS5 next year, according to what I'm being fed here, and Xbox 2 in 2020. And potentially with a full-on unveil next year for Xbox 2 to let those PlayStation customers know or Xbox customers that are curious about the capability of PS5 know that, hey, look, we've already told you we're going to be the benchmark. That's why we said it prematurely. That's why we were so confident that we're going to be faster in PS5, because we knew PS5 was coming out in 2019 and we knew we were coming out in 2020. So expect those release dates. And I'm very
I got to say something.
I've also been saying it. A lot of people are making fun of me saying that, it's going to be 2020. I've also, came to the decision it's going to come out 2019. And just the fact that they're not really showing us anything new this year. They canceled the Paris Week event, the
PSX.
The PSX.
I think PSX was canceled because of the outrage from the last one. That's probably why they didn't want to kill their hype and shit. I think
they're saving that for some kind of March event to reveal PS5.
Yeah, and they got a lot of events to show off too. You factor that in. They got Gamescom, Paris. They got
Ryan, usually a next generation, because we know what Microsoft are doing, right? Yeah. I'm saying that they're going to use the base Xbox One hardware for another 5 to 7 years due to the fact that they're building their cloud servers out of base X1 hardware. Okay, with PS5, Sony have talked about traditional generations, blah, blah, blah. And that means you need exclusive software for that new hardware that kind of separates and creates that divide. If they are coming out in 2019, what games could they say, okay, this is only on PS5? I cannot think of any.
Yeah, I actually talked about that on the RGT. Or actually, no, did I talk about RGT? No, I actually did a video. They do have 3 potential bangers that they could drop in 2019. Like, for example, we do not have a release date for Death Stranding. Nah, we don't have a release date for Death Stranding yet. No release date for
2030.
2030.
Yeah, we're guessing that's
2020.
Kojima saying that's 2020, almost assuredly. Same for Ghosts. That's apparently 2020.
Kojima, No, 2020.
Yeah, 2020 for that one as well, I would say.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, and then they have The Last of Us Part 2. And Last of Us Part 2, a lot of people were saying and speculating 2019.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think that could run on PS4 though. I do believe that, and I believe that'll be on PS4, and that's what I'm saying.
It might be with
what software?
No, so that's probably what.
both.
Yeah, they'll put on both. Like they'll do what Nintendo did with the Wii U. They'll have like a massive launch. They'll launch on both. One will look better than the other, right? They'll go full out with the PS5 version.
So you don't think it'll have any exclusive games at all for the new PlayStation?
I do, dealer. Actually, I think that we might get Horizon Zero Dawn 2.
I don't know about it yet.
Anytime soon.
Game's working on a first-person shooter right now, unless they've got two teams working simultaneously.
Yeah. I think that's the rumor is Killzone, by the way, for that new shooter.
Yeah.
I think for the first year of the PlayStation 5, I think it's going to be cross-platform, cross-generation games. I think after the first year, they're probably going to ramp that down a little bit. At the most 2 years, but I really think probably just a year. And after that, they're going to just go exclusive with the PS5 and get you to buy their new system.
I think the funny thing with this, saying PS5 is too soon for 2019, like all of these devs and these publishers and the game makers are saying that the last console generation was too long. It was 8 years. And right now it's at the 6-year mark, and everyone's like, oh no, Colt, there's no way that PS5's coming out in 2021, 2022. Yeah. I'm like, why in the heck would they, 8 years is too long, but let's go ahead and do 9.
I mean, with that being said, we're still getting games every single year that are better than the previous. I see no reason to jump into a next gen until that starts to really plateau. I don't need one Red Dead. By all means, give me a game or two of that quality, baby.
That's not true.
I think 2019 is way too much of a rush. My gut feeling isn't feeling it at all. I just want to separate myself from that prediction. I'm not with 2019.
The developers are sick and tired of these Jaguar cores, man. They've had to hold back their games. They've had to put almost everything at 30 frames. They're ready. They want to do what they've been doing on the PC.
Well, you got to remember, if you haven't really played on PC, you don't understand how much better the games can look and run.
Oh, they could all be better, but like the games that we are getting each year are still better than the games from the previous years, even the previous months. It's still happening on console compared to
happens
console.
Every console generation. Like Halo 4 looked amazing compared to Halo 3.
It did, and it would have been pretty sweet if we could have gotten maybe 3 or 4 other games of that caliber looking that good. I mean, like as much as it took 8 years, it's nice if when devs finally get the power or the ability to use the power and put out some true masterpieces instead of running off to the next unfamiliar piece.
They're using the power, man, and that's the problem with this console. Like, I'll say this real quick, is when you are severely CPU limited like we are now, they are literally dumping every ounce of the power that we have into additional resolution with things like the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, because they can't unlock volumetrics and higher frame rates and do all these things with detail and all the geometry stuff they could do. They're very, very limited to GPU-based technologies, and that's kind of, I don't know. Origin Odyssey looks fucking amazing. I'm not saying the games look bad. Never said that, because we're on the X. We've had to buy another console 3-4 years after to get to feel this way, Shady. But you got to remember,
I know we have, but like the way that the PS5 is described with no
a very, very limited amount of people have actually bought the X and the Pro compared to the base model, and those guys are running Odyssey right now at 752p on the Xbox One.
So you think Sony's so desperate to get that power crown back that they're going to put out a next-gen console with just multi-gen games at the beginning?
It's not just that, though. This generation, like Dealer was saying, it's really held back by the CPU. We're stuck with 30 frames per second, and that needs to go. The games need to be at least 60 frames per second. PC has had 60 frames per second forever. It's about time that is standard.
I know. I'm just saying, like, if there isn't a standalone game,
and also the technology that's in these consoles.
It's just another X jump.
Consoles are lagging behind now. To be honest, even the X, we got 2080 Ti's, we got 1080 Ti's that are substantially more powerful than the console.
The new ray tracing technology literally puts a lot of this shit.
So it's 4 or 5 years. I'm fine with that. In the PC market, every year mostly there's a new GPU that comes out. You have the option of buying it. You have the option of not buying it.
And if you want to stay on the X, I think you'll be able to play new games on the X still. So
yeah, I think so too.
If you don't want to invest, if that's your problem, then that's
no, it's not a matter of that. It just sounds like without exclusive content geared just for the PS5, if it's just playing multi-gen games looking better, it just sounds like another mid-gen upgrade, not a generation jump. And I didn't think Sony was going that route.
Well, I mean, it's confusing. This stuff has never really happened before. You know what I'm saying? There's no one right way to think about this because it's new, but I'll say that people are fine upgrading from a 1060 to a 1080. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same game, same code. You just unlock more capability, and they build scalable technologies that higher end things can take advantage of. I guess we'll have to see, but I don't even know if this stream's going. It says
it's up. It's working. YouTube's working. It's just having a heart attack.
Yeah, just let us know what's going on, guys. And we're going to go ahead and close it down because we don't even know how much this is going to make it up anyway. That was pretty much all our topics. We do appreciate you stopping by. Well over 600 people live tonight. Yeah, and we do thank you so much. Hit that like button on your way out as we do some outros and stuff like that. So we're going to start with Ryan, the professional, guys. What have you been playing and where can people find you, man? Thanks for joining us.
Oh, absolutely. No problem. Thank you for the invite. You guys can find me on YouTube at Ryan the Professional. Same thing on Twitter. As far as what I was playing, I was playing Forza Horizon 4, and I think I was playing Max Payne 2 on the PC as well. So I'm glad you're going back. I was having a little retro day today, just relaxing. Yeah, just relaxing today.
That's that Remedy action.
Oh yeah, old school Remedy. That's what we need. No Max Payne, but nobody wants to talk about that. I wonder why.
I know. Right?
Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Again, thank you to everybody on the panel. I had a great time, and yeah, good show.
Yeah, man, you did well. Hey, we've also got So Shady. What have you been playing? Where can people find you?
I have been playing Odyssey up until Blackout came out. Well, I just call it Blackout. It's not even Black Ops. It's Blackout. I've been playing a lot of that.
Blackout, Ops, and Blackout.
Great. As you said, I am So Shady at the Sesh Empire, one word, on Twitter. On Xbox, I am So Shady. And later on this week, on Thursday night, you can find me on the Saltiest Gaming podcast. And then Friday morning, Breakfast with Boom.
Nice. And anybody else who wants Shady on, just send them an invite. It could be at 2 a.m, 8 at night, both. Doesn't matter. He'll be there. Yeah, I want to thank Shady for showing up once again, adding his perspective to things. We've also got D-Batch. What have you been playing? Where can people find you, bro?
I also, too, been playing some Black Ops. I do miss the story, but the Battle Royale mode's kind of making up for it. I'm having a lot of fun with that. And I'm also playing a little bit of Far Cry, and that's pretty much it. And I put Forza down for Black Ops. You guys can find me on Twitter at D_batch and at YouTube at D-Batch.
Luca just texted me and she's like, "You're good." Nope. Okay, it went down. I think it's a YouTube thing. Like, so like I said,
I think it is a YouTube thing because when I actually click on your channel, it says that the video is live and there's like 281 people watching. But then when I click on the link, it says an error occurred. So
I'm looking on my phone. I can't look at it. I
don't know. This month YouTube has had AIDS, man. I don't know. I uploaded some HDR videos to my channel, and they're in 4K. Everything was rendered properly. For some reason, it's displaying them in 1440p HDR and in regular SDR in 4K. So I don't know.
I think they're gearing up for that big update that they're supposedly going to do in March. That's what they were talking about, a big March update for gaming channels. But still, I don't.
See, I doesn't really excuse that there's 600 and something people in it. I don't know, man. Yeah, I got no clue. So thanks, D, for joining us once again, brother. We've also got Cole Eastwood, man. What have you been playing, and where can people find you?
You guys know I've been playing AC Odyssey. You can find me at Cole Eastwood on Twitter and YouTube. And just put out a video a couple days ago about PS5.
That was yesterday, man. Yeah, go check out Colt's new video.
Yeah, it's kind of trying to speculate what kind of games we have coming up right as the new consoles launch and what they're going to launch with. And so, yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think I don't know, it's an amazing 2018, and just 2019 was fire. I don't know how you could go wrong. 2020 just has to be just as good. So go check it out. It's a good time.
Yep. And we've also got Mr. Boomstick. What have you been playing? Where people find you, bro?
Well, it's been AC Odyssey all day, all long. It's just I cannot put the game down. I think I might have put like 8 hours in today. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, if you want to follow me, hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Boomstick XL, or check out my channel if you don't mind, Double Barrel Gaming on YouTube when it's working.
Yeah, man. I just got to ask you, Boone, to stop shilling for Ubisoft and stop having a good time and just start hating everything and complaining about things that you I don't know, just stop.
I'm gonna say this: if you ever hear me like ranting or hating on something, you know that you're in Bizarro World, because I like to come off as a proper gentleman. I think I pull it off.
And humble, Pat.
Very humble. Yeah. And we've also got Zalker87. I would encourage all you guys, let's get Zalker to over 100 subs.
Yes.
After the show. If this is even, if even any of you can even see this, check out Zalker at Zalker87 on YouTube. And of course, Zalker, take it away. We've been playing where people find you on Twitter, things like that.
You guys can find me at Zalker87 on YouTube. I just put a video out talking about how I've enjoyed Assassin's Creed and how I think a lot of people that have been complaining or getting mad about the game, I feel like you can enjoy it. Take your time with it. Go look out the video.
Just tips and tricks. Don't ruin it for them.
Tips, tricks. Yeah, just enjoy it, And so, check the video out. You can find me at Twitter at Shocked87. And I've been playing AC Odyssey like fucking crazy. And honestly, I've been playing a lot of Blackout with my buddy, and we're getting wins. We're at I think 7 or 8 Blackout wins, and we're having a damn good time. And I really want to play with Shady. I'm calling him out. He's just not joining my parties. Doesn't love me as much as I thought he did. And I want to win, Shady. I don't know if you've won yet, but I'm going to check your achievements.
Hey, I got to say something about Odyssey real quick. Somebody in the chat asked, did AC Odyssey get a downgrade?
Huh?
Yeah, no. I was like, oh my gosh, seriously? It's like one of the best looking games I've ever.
Well, you surprised by this with the drama with fucking Red Dead? Expect one for Red Dead in a couple days. So
testicles downgraded.
Downgraded.
There's only one of them.
Major cold out downgraded for some odd reason.
Oh god. Yeah, no artistic vision in Odyssey. So you should be good. Odyssey is not only one of the best looking games ever made, but for an open world game, it's probably the best looking open world game ever made. So it looks absolutely phenomenal. I encourage all of you guys to try it out. Of course, you can follow me at dealer_gaming on Twitter, where I do giveaways. We keep up with the video stuff. We do questions for RDX and stuff like that. Didn't have time to do it today, but usually we do have questions and stuff for people on Twitter. Also, congratulations to Spoonman on Patron, who won Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Absolutely fantastic game.
Never heard of
it. If you want to become a patron, support the channel content like this, check out that link down in the description for as little as I don't know. I mean, hey, some people, a little as $1 a month, you can get away with supporting content that you like. Also, some other links down there. Check that out. Lethal Papa's Twitter link, stuff like that. Go follow those people. They help the channel as well. And follow everybody here too, because they did a great job tonight, except for Zalker. He sucks. And
oh, come on.
Damn.
No, Zalker's up and coming. You guys go subscribe to his channel if you can even hear me. And we are going to get the fuck out of here. We'll see you later.
Take it easy.
Later, everyone.
Peace.
I signed up twice.